All right. In this video, I'm going to dissect why your brain self-sabotages you and why your psychology always gets in the way of your trading. This is a major problem. It needs to be addressed. Not enough people in the trading community talk about psychology. So I'm going to get right into it in this video, and I'm going to give you guys a breakdown on how to basically train or trick your brain into being disciplined. And the first step in doing so is you need to understand, why is your brain undisciplined? Like, why do we fail? Like, why do so many people fail to follow their plan, follow their rules, and implement what they said they're going to do? They'll write it down, say, I'm going to follow this rule, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then they get on the charts and then they completely mess it up and it all goes crazy, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about why that happens, why it's not your fault, why it's actually the way that your brain is wired, but also how you can rewire and reprogram that to be a better trader, to trick yourself into being more disciplined as a trader. So the first thing you need to understand, and if you guys haven't read this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's a great book. I really recommend it. I have no affiliate code for that. I just genuinely think it's a great book. But I want you guys to understand this quote from that book. Okay. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Okay. And what James is trying to say in this quote is basically how you program your environment will dictate how you act, right? So if you make it very hard for you to stay disciplined, you're going to be undisciplined. If you make it very easy to stay disciplined, you're going to stay disciplined, right? If you make it like a chore to do something versus a habit, right, it will change how often you do that thing, right? So um how can we use this in trading, right? Like, how does this apply to trading? I'm sure you're wondering. Well, it's because systems are like the backbone of trading, right? You can have a strategy, you can have an entry model, you can have, you know, like an indicator, whatever it is that you follow for your trading system. But if you don't have a system, like like basically conditions that tell you what you should and shouldn't do based on what's happening around you, or a system, right, that tells you when to stay in a trade, when to exit a trade, when to get in a trade, when to walk away from the charts, etc. Basically, a rule set and a system that makes it easy for you to follow those rules. Then guess what? You're more than likely going to fail because you're depending too heavily on an individual variable versus an actual system, right? So we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems, right? So if you have no system when you're trading, guess what? Your goals are always gonna feel out of reach, right? But if you have that system there, which is like the backbone of your strategy, right? Then guess what? You're gonna fall to the level of that system, and if it's where your goals are, you're gonna hit your goals, right? So the first thing you need to understand is your brain is literally hardwired for survival. Okay, we are, as humans, we've evolved to want quick dopamine hits, to conserve energy, to take the route of least resistance. I mean, we're like electricity. We don't like struggle. Okay, that's how your brain is wired. And you know, there's other factors that play into breaking rules, such as fear, greed, and then outside things outside the chart affecting you, right? And so how do we get past that? Well, in my opinion, there's a few ways you can trick your brain into being disciplined. The probably the most obvious one, and you've probably heard this one before, but it's true, is just remove the need to make money. If you're paying your rent with prop firm payouts or money from, trading your personal account or whatever, right? If you're depending on those trades to work out for your lifestyle, then guess what? It's gonna mess you up. So the first thing you need to do is find a way to fund your basic living, basic lifestyle outside of trading. So when you are trading, you're not focused on trying to cover your cell phone bill or whatever. You're focused on trying to take the best setups you can. Okay. So completely remove the need to make money. Make it so you can be completely unprofitable, and you would be your bills would be covered, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. It's easier said than done, and it's gonna be different for everybody how they go about doing that. But that is gonna be my biggest piece of advice off rip: is don't depend on your trading to fund your lifestyle. Okay, have a lifestyle that will function outside of trading, and then use trading to enhance that lifestyle. Okay. The second one is have hobbies. I'm a big, big believer in this. I think the key to getting around over trading, and that's a big issue people struggle with, is to have hobbies, right? You need a reason to get off the charts. If you don't have hobbies, if you don't have anything that you do outside the charts, guess how easy it's going to be to take a trade and then think, oh, well, let me just sit here and click the button some more and make some more trades because I want to make more money. and I have all this time and I have nothing better to do, you're gonna end up over trading. Okay, you guys need a reason to get off the charts, and it needs to be some kind of hobby that's outside of financial markets. Okay, it could be the gym, it could be car meets, it could be music, it could be going see your spouse, it could be whatever. Well, I guess that's not a hobby, that last one, but you get the point. It could be anything. It needs to be something, some kind of activity that's outside of the charts, where when you have free time, you're like, oh, let me go spend it doing this thing that I really like, right? Because otherwise, you're gonna be too tempted to sit there and overtrade when you know dang well that you should get off those charts. After you hit your goal, you lock in that win. Just you're done for the day. Don't take another trade, right? But if you don't have hobbies, you don't have anything outside of the charts to do, then it's gonna be way too tempting for you to sit there and watch the markets all day, and then eventually take another trade and maybe lose it, go on tilt, blow your account, etc. Right? So the last one in the slide that I want to talk about is stop thinking in terms of numbers. Instead, think in terms of risk to reward multiples. So instead of thinking I'm risking X amount of dollars, $100, $200, $1,000 on this trade, think in terms of I'm risking 1 R to make 2 R. I'm risking 1 R to make 1 R. I'm risking 1 R to make 10 R, whatever it may be, right? You're risking multiples and you're risking units, right? That can be percentages if you're on options. It can be just R multiples if you're on futures, right? So stop thinking in terms of the money. Completely detach yourself from the money, because guess what? Whether you're trading a 10K account, 100K account, or $1 million account, 1 R multiple is still 1 R multiple. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're risking $1,000, if you're risking 2,000, 10,000, $100,000. If that's your 1 R multiple, then it equates to 1 R multiple, or 1%, or whatever your risk percentage or risk plan is. Right. So stop thinking in numbers. Start thinking of in risk multiples and percentages, and that's going to help you a lot with your psychology, and it's going to remove a lot of that survival mode instinct that's going to play into trading that you're naturally hardwired to feel, right? And that's what really trips people up. So you want to hack your biology, essentially, right? So you guys understand, basically you're hardwired for dopamine hits, for quick wins, for safety, to conserve energy, right? All that stuff. But that is going to mess you up in trading. So you got to hack your biology, right? The brain has evolved for survival, right? And you got to basically rewire your brain to stop thinking in survival mode, reprogram it, right? And the reason that people like freak out and go into a state of fear and panic when they lose trades is because they're stuck in this state of survival mode, right? And that's why in the first slide, the first thing I told you is stop depending on trading to fund your lifestyle, because you're keeping yourself in survival mode when you do that, right? You need to trade from a place of abundance, right? In other words, you need to trade from a place of, oh, I can make this money trading and it will enhance my life. And if I don't make it, my life will still be fine. Everything is still paid for, right? It's going to remove that survival mode instinct. It's going to remove FOMO, fear, greed, all that bad stuff that we don't want to deal with when we're trading, right? It's easier said than done. But this is the raw truth that you guys need to hear. That if you really want to like hit your peak potential, you gotta implement this stuff. It really makes the difference. Okay. And there's different ways you can do it. You can save up an emergency fund to cover you. You can have some kind of income source outside of trading, whatever, right? Like there's multiple avenues, but just find a way that you're funding your lifestyle outside of trading. So that way, when you do trade, you're not in a state of survival. You're in a state of abundance, right? And it's going to help you make much better decisions, because you're paid basically for your decisions, not for your time trading. So the better decisions you make, the better outcomes you're going to have. So real discipline does not come from force, okay? It comes from design. And that's what I'm trying to explain in this video, is you got to design your life in and outside the charts to encourage good behavior and good habits, because if you don't, you're not going to have a system. If you don't have a system, you're more likely going to fail, right? So you got to make your environment encourage discipline, right? So make it easy for yourself to follow your plan. Don't make it um, don't make it so you're jumping through hoops to do what you say you're gonna do. Just make it as streamlined as you can, right? Without being lazy. Like, still be disciplined, but make it easy for yourself. If you hit your profit goal, like have something already planned that you're gonna do. You're gonna do off the charts when you have the time. So that way you already have that incentive to get off the charts, right? Stuff like that. Basically design systems that keep you in flow, right? And that can be things beyond just like hobbies and things to keep you following rules. It could also just be like, keep yourself mentally sharp and mentally calm when you're trading, right? It could be something as simple as like, if you like to listen to music when you trade, like make sure you have your favorite playlist on or something when you're trading, so that way you're calm and collects, right? There's surgeons out there that when they do surgery, they literally listen to music because it helps them keep a steady hand when they're making incisions, right? So, if you want to keep a calm mind, maybe consider music or just something that's therapeutic to you, right? That will help you stay relaxed while you're trading, right? So stay in flow. Make it easy for you to follow your discipline and plan, with incentives, basically give yourself an outlet that is going to give you those endorphins or dopamine right outside of trading that you can go do once you follow what you're supposed to do with trading, whether it's going to get good food, going to hang out with friends, going to the gym, whatever it is. Like, just have something that gives you some kind of positive impact, and some kind of endorphin rush, right? That you can reward yourself for doing what you know you're supposed to do on the charts, right? Uh, and the final one I would say is just remove the pressure to make it, right? Like, guys, if you don't become a millionaire in a year from trading or something, it's like your life will go on. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to hit it big in trading. You can pull in like a few $1,000s a month and live very healthy on that. Like, you don't got to swing for the fences. Like, oh, I got to make 100K this month or else I'm not a good trader. Like, no, you can literally have like a 2K month and you can be living like a king off that, right? So just like remove the pressure to make it big. Just don't look at what other people are doing on social media, flexing or whatever. Like, just focus on you. Stay in your lane. Just try to beat the version of yourself from yesterday. Don't pay any mind to what other people are doing. I know you see it on social media all the time. People flexing like big, big payouts or big gains in the market, whatever. And you're just like, oh, I gotta be on their level, or else like I'm not a good trader. Blah blah blah. It's all like not like it's not of your concern, right? Like, just focus on you. Stay in your lane. Focus on your goals. Focus on being better than you were the month prior, right? And that's all that matters. And that builds consistency, and that's going to build up over time. So, that's my like TED talk on reprogramming, rewiring your brain. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you hit a like, subscribe, comment down below. If you like this video, if it helps you, maybe if you something you want to see next. It really helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next video. And if you guys want to join a community of traders, link down below for my Discord. I do have a mentorship. I do teach people. So if you are interested in getting mentored by me, or purchasing one of my courses, or any of my educational material, that's all in the Discord. It's all in the links down below. You guys can check that out. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.